Your name is Taylor Ash. You sing. It's what you do. I'm Bob Mack. Watch and be inspired seeing how Taylor Ash used a life-changing event to spark new musical opportunities in output, growth, and income as a modern musician from Philadelphia. And welcome back to The Interval. And with me is Taylor Ash, a composer, musician, vocalist. I'm really excited to have Taylor on the show. Welcome to the program.
Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Last time I saw you perform was almost a year ago.
Yeah, July 1st, I think it was, yeah.
Here in Wayne. I've known you for a while, following your music through friends and association. But I was really blown away by your bluesy, rocking performance.
Thank you.
And for a young person, I felt like you were channeling like the likes of like a Melissa Etheridge and some other like really contemporary blues women vocalists.
Awesome.
Is that a style that you kind of emulated, or is it just your natural way of singing?
I guess that is just I think so. I have a musical theater background and also a classical voice background, but also listened to a lot of classic rock, and I think just all of those musical things floating around in my head kind of just created how I sing, I guess. You know, it's not something I guess I immediately go for. It's just I just sing and that's what comes out. So nice. Yeah.
And at the time you'd produced your own and completed your own album.
I did work with a studio for a lot of the album. There's a couple tracks that I produced mostly myself and then had mixed and mastered somewhere else. But I worked with East Coast Recording Company for most of the album.
And that was all original work that you
yes.
wrote?
Yes, yeah.
So where did you learn to write and compose? Like, you know, you're in your mid-20s.
Yeah. I first started writing songs when I was in like early high school, probably like 9th grade, and I just started composing little ditties and writing, you know, for piano and guitar. And then I ended up going to college for music composition and honed in more on like choral music, classical music, that kind of thing. And yeah, I kind of think that influenced a lot of my like more indie songwriting a lot, was kind of learning the classical foundation of it. So I've been doing it for a while, I think. Yeah.
Well, the fact that you kind of made that your college curriculum, that really says a lot to your passion.
Yes, yeah.
So where does that come from? Like, can you remember, like when, as far as you can go back, when your first song that kind of turned you on, got you thinking like, I want to do that or be
that? It's so funny because I do remember like a very specific moment. I think I was a junior in high school, and junior year is when you start thinking, you know, you're applying to schools or you're thinking about college, and I was gonna go for like meteorology, science-based, you know, like something like that. And I remember leaving a choir concert and being like, just like high off the, like, you know, the experience of performing in front of people. I think I had like a solo or something, and I was like, I just don't get this feeling with doing anything else. So I think I decided then and there, I was like, you know what? As long as my parents are cool with it, then we're gonna pursue music further, I think. So.
Nice. So you were singing even as a young child?
Yes, yeah.
Around the house. So was your mom or dad playing lots of music in the house too?
Yeah, my dad is definitely a big like Genesis, yes, Pink Floyd, all of those bands. So I definitely, and also my family is big musical theater people. So lots of musical theater. We went to shows when we were very young. I don't know what age I was, but I remember going to see The Lion King on Broadway, like very, very young. And so that was like performing. And my grandfather, my dad's dad, also was a big performer. And I think we used to watch his videos of his performances and everything. And that, I think, inspired a lot of like all of my family to kind of perform. We used to put on something called the End of the Year Show down the shore for our parents and like perform songs, dances, and everything. So everybody in my family is pretty creative in that sense.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So it's a culture that you grew up in.
Yeah,
It's encouraging you to perform. You're getting comfortable with doing that.
Yes, definitely. I had a lot of support from my family, for sure.
And then those things where you did for the family, you guys were writing your own little skits. And
A
stuff
lot
like
of times, yeah,
Okay.
or making our own dances to like the Spice Girls or something like that, the popular music at the time. And yeah, so, and I would usually sing something like, Dorothy was like Somewhere Over the Rainbow or something like that, and we'd perform. It was cute.
So you were growing up in suburban Philadelphia, downtown
Yes.
wayish.
Yeah,
Okay. Just like to establish the cred, like
Yeah.
the connection to Philadelphia
Yes,
area, that kind
yeah,
of thing. Did you go to concerts in the city or anything like that? Did you,
When
see
I
shows?
didn't do it too much until I was in high school, and I started going to like artists that I loved. Like I was really into Ingrid Michaelson. That was the first, I think, concert that I can remember. I'm sure I've been to another one before that, but the one that sticks in my mind is that one. And ever since then, I attend concerts when I can in my schedule. But yeah, I do enjoy going to them.
You're pregnant
Yes.
now, right?
Yes.
So you got to go there. So I guess that puts the performing thing on hold.
For sure. Yeah.
So what do you do? So like, you think of you being a musical performer and your life is about being on stage.
Yeah.
And how to make a living, if you do or can. You have to pivot and change and find a way to get that outlet going or out.
Right.
What do you do?
I think, well, it's kind of feel like the industry has shifted so much since, like, even since 2020, since the pandemic, when performing on stage was not even like something that you could really do. And for me, I think as a musician, we always have multiple jobs and multiple avenues. I think most musicians, if you're solely like making money off music, you're always like, I'm a teacher, I am a producer, and now I'm also a composer. So that's where kind of my focus has shifted pre-pregnancy, but now post-pregnancy, post and awaiting, baby girl to come is focusing now on composing and stuff that I can do at home, still making music and still writing music, but not necessarily being on stage performing it.
Right.
But the nice thing about, again, the shift in the industry is a lot of it is moved online, like with things like TikTok and Instagram. It's like almost like you do have this mini stage platform that I feel like when I'm sharing my composing, it is kind of like akin to performing still in a sense. So I still get that like gratification, the satisfaction of that, but never have to leave my house. So
Right.
it's been pretty cool. Kind of shifting my career focus a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go down that path a little further.
Yeah, absolutely.
So two things. One is you don't get the immediate feedback like you do from a stage, seeing how the audience reacts to you.
Right. Or that energy.
That energy
yeah.
for sure. The other one is how do you monetize that, right?
Yeah, totally. With streaming, the streaming world now, that's mostly how you're making money off of music that you put out into the world. So finding this niche that I've kind of fallen into with composition, I make scores for books and really popular fantasy books specifically. People are obsessed with these
I saw
books.
Throne of Glass.
Throne of Glass,
Yeah.
yes. A Court of Thorns and Roses was the first one that kind of went what they call viral on TikTok. It went, had a lot of views. And when I released it, it kind of, I probably had like a couple thousand Spotify listeners. I have over 60,000 Spotify listeners now.
That's awesome.
And so I've been really kind of shifting and releasing new music in that like film score genre almost. But all of it's based upon books, which is, books I've read and I like. So that's been really fun.
Spotify is then paying you for the
Yeah, so
listens?
you get something like 0.001 cent to stream.
Okay.
So when it adds up, fairly quickly, and for me it is just kind of like a small revenue. Most of the majority of my income now comes from people want to hire me for like indie authors want to hire me for their books.
Oh wow.
And creating songs based upon their books. And I kind of got back into composing because of podcasting. My good friends at Willing and Fable podcast hired me to do their theme song, their commercial music, their outro music. And so I get a lot of gigs and jobs from that. And recently I just got hired on a feature film. So that's exciting. I've been working on my first.
Can you tell us what that is?
It's called Last Known Location. I think they're doing the Philadelphia Film Festival, but it's very new. So yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm just doing a couple scenes for them, but yeah, it's been super fun. Yeah.
How do you charge? Like, you have a certain rate structure?
Yeah. So it's usually with composition. Well, if you're doing a full-length movie and you're the sole composer on it, you can do like package deals. But if it's smaller projects like I've been doing, I charge per minute of music composed.
Okay.
So it's kind of like almost like an hourly rate in a sense, but it's based on that.
And is there an industry scale rate structure?
It goes anywhere. I know like a standard is like $1,000 per minute. I'm charging about $300 right now since I'm new to the industry. So
okay.
Yeah.
So that's another avenue of you musicians out there. They're thinking like, how can I find ways to make my music more productive and bring me more income?
And if you play piano, you play every instrument because of all the plugins and everything. There's some really insane string libraries and brass libraries that you can create entire orchestral works and only play piano or one instrument and just have a basic knowledge of it. So
what software do you use to manage your compositions, the different tracks, and how do you put it all together?
I use Logic Pro, and then I use a couple different plugin libraries, East West being my favorite, and Spitfire. I entered a scoring competition, and I was one of the winners, and got a free giant string library from them. So I do use that quite a bit too. It's been weird how the path has led me here, but it all has worked out in this like perfect sense,
Right.
Yeah.
Where do you hope this will go? And do you think you can keep doing this from, the outer ring suburbs of Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think most of the work is remote. Even if I got hired, let's say, a couple years down the road, I get hired on a major film. Where I can work with a real orchestra, most of the time you're working with European orchestras and you're going in remote and you're just kind of listening remotely and guiding them. Usually you have a conductor who leads the orchestra too. So you're really just working with the conductor, and the conductor is conveying the composer's like wishes to the orchestra, which is really cool. I've seen it in like work with some of my other younger female composer friends who have been successsurful in the industry and everything. So it's been really cool to watch that.
Kind of rewinding just a little bit. You went to school or college, university.
Yes.
Where'd you go?
Westminster Choir College.
Westminster Choir College. And so that's where you learned all the background, the fundamentals of doing all this.
Yes.
And going into Westminster Choir College, were you a pianist vocalist first?
Yeah, I actually did start out as a vocal performance major. You need a degree, but you don't need a vocal performance degree to be. And people get into like this stuff without any kind of degree at all.
Right.
So, I am glad I switched over.
It's a neat arc because I'm seeing that old Malcolm Gladwell thing, where masters of their talent of whatever their genre is that they're into, it requires that roughly 10,000 hours.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can think like, oh, I need to be performing for decades or many years, but you've been performing since you were so young, in 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
All the way through high school. Then you studied in college. Now you're racking up a lot of hours, so it's a natural progression to be writing scores at this stage.
Music is, just one of those, you just go on a journey and you really never know where it's going to take you. I have friends too who like went on the music journey and now are nowhere near it anymore, or they've gotten on a different path than they ever thought that they would be. But I think if you're open to it and just kind of go with the flow, it's pretty cool where it can take you.
Well, before we wrap up, do you hope to get back on stage, or are you kind of thinking, I don't need to know?
Yeah. I mean, I do. There is always going to be a part of me that loves to be on stage, and I do. I do have one more stage opportunity in August for. I'm in a singer-songwriter competition, so I have a performance. I think it's August 9th for that.
Where's that?
It's at Uptown Now in Performing Arts Center in Westchester. It's like a local singer-songwriter competition, so it's been fun. I just did a performance a couple weeks ago, made it through to the final round, and so now got that in August. That'll probably be the last of it for a while, but I do hope, and I would love like for my daughter to like, you know, be exposed to as much music like I was, and you know, never force her, but you know, hope it's kind of part of her life too. So
that's fantastic. We hope you win.
Thanks. We'll see.
Yeah.
Really talented people in the competition.
I'm sure there's a lot of talented artists all throughout this area.
Yeah.
You're certainly one of them. We're really excited and glad you came on the show.
It's been awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me again.
Yeah. We'll be watching you, and we'll see what happens in the next year or so. And next time, maybe we'll have your daughter on the program.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome.
That'd be super cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you're impressed and inspired like me by Taylor's resilience, creativity, and drive. We're thrilled she's found a way to keep sharing her musical gifts while she waits for the arrival of her child. We wish her and baby on the way all of life's rich blessings. Please like this as many times as you can and subscribe at least once if you haven't already. Till next time, I'm Bob Mack. Thanks for watching.